I am Dr. VIJAYAN, Assistant Professor, Faculty in Medicine and Health Science, SRM, Institute of Science and Technology, Tiruchirappalli Campus, Tiruchirappalli. Today discuss about the recent trends in plant growth regulators. And what is meant by plant growth regulators? Is the plant growth regulators are naturally biosynthesized chemicals in plants that influence physiological process. The synthesized analogous trigger numerous biochemical and physiological process involving the growth and development of plants. And the plant growth regulator abscisic acid also has wide range of effects on growth and development of the plants. As a production of is stimulated under stress or unfavorable condition such as drought, waterlogging, excess temperatures, it's known as stress hormones. It acts as antagonistically to gibberellic acids. Its hormone is transported to all part of the plants through the process of diffusion by contractive channels. And nowadays, due to the changed climatic scenario, the numerous biotic and abiotic stress, the hamper seed germinations. Some of the seedling growth and plant development leading to a decline in biological and economical yield. Some of the plant growth regulators can potentially play a fundamental role in regulating plant response to various abiotic and biotic stress. And the contribution to the plant adapted under adverse environment is the big five. Example, the five hormones, the plant hormones is identified. One is auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, abscisic acid, ethylene. Is a hormone or chemical messenger that travel throughout the plants in order to help. It is a response to stimuli. And plants stimuli or changes of the organism, the internal and external environment, they trigger on effect within the organism. The general body of the plant is genetically determined, but the plant on architectures and branching pattern are variable and can be adjusted to the prevailing environmental conditions. And it's mainly the five hormones is a stimulate. The hormone play an important role the plant kingdom in regulating plant growth and development of the plants. Is the five most important plant hormone is a big five: auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, abscisic acid, ethylene or ethene. These hormones are control a large variety of functions. The one hormone is involved in the control of several events. Example, the major effect of abiotic stress are growth and yield disturbance, and both these effects are directly by plant growth regulators. In different type of plant growth regulators such as abscisic acid, salicylic acids, ethylene, sasponate are connected to boost the response of plant to multiple stress. It contrasts plant growth regulators including cytokinin, gibberellin, auxin, and relatively novel plant growth regulators such as striglolactone and brasnosteroid are involved in the plant growth and development under normal stressful environment condition beside the polyamine and nitric oxide. All are considered as a plant growth hormones. And hormone is recently the review to the involvement of regulation of several plant process and stress response. These plant growth regulators are crucial for regulating stress adaptations through the model physiological and biochemical and molecular process. It is the activation of the defense systems, the mainly transcription factors, translation factors, and regulating of transcript level, the metabolic gene and stress of the protein at cellular level. It's a current scenario. The recent progress made on different plant growth regulators to improve the plant tolerance to abiotic stress such as heat, drought, salinity and flood. And most of the research, the biosynthesis under stress conditions and the potential role in impairing tolerance against adverse effect of suboptimal growth conditions. And the plant hormone play a crucial role in regulating development process. Example, sasmonic acid, salicylic acids and brasnosteroid have been recently added to the list of the plant hormones apart from auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, abscisic acid and volatile hormone of ethylene. And regulating role of the plant development, plant hormones, ethylene and sasmonic acid, the key role for plant defense response, well as auxin, gibberellin, abscisic acid and cytokinin. So, brasnosteroids are known to modulate the effects. And some of the abiotic stress, heat, drought, salinity, the water logging, heavy metal toxicity, soil erosion, it adversely affects the growth and developments, the yield, the resulting high economic loss at the expense of global food security. And some of the different abiotic stress, the biological and economic yield of numerous crop are greater than individual stress. So plant growth regulators naturally biosynthesize by the plants which modified growth are increasing branching and rebranching shoot and root. The alter or trigger the fruit maturations, reproductions. Crop plants play the significant role for the migrating abiotic stress. And some of the important role, the condition being thermoproductant or reactivation oxygen scavengers, improving photosynthesis, accumulation of stress proteins and many of the regulating functions to the metabolism, the presence in plant growth regulators. And some of the plant growth, they play important role, the regulating process or signaling process. The plant complex mechanism to detect external signal and can trigger an optimum response against stress conditions under the support of plant growth regulators that mainly control the defensive response of the plant by synergetic and antagonistic activity. It's called signaling crosstalk. The recent studies, they indicate that the hormones such as abscisic acid, auxin, gibberellic acid, cytokinin, brasnosteroids and the peptide hormone also implicate the important plant defense signaling pathway, but their role for plant defense. Some of the mechanism is a potential role of priming with the phytohormones to enhance the crop productivity and improve the plant tolerance to the biotic and abiotic stress. During the stress perception process, there are variation in perceiving various hormone signals from the early phase to ongoing phase of the stress and allowing plant to advance to well organized growth. There are various ligands or receptors which help of perception of the hormone. For instance, salicylic acids perceived by NPR proteins or striclolactone, the perceived active by draft protein hydrolyzed receptor, ubiquitin ligase, leucine rich receptors, the repeat kinase, the many other help of recognitions and signal PGR growth factors. And overall, the plant growth regulators induce physiological adaptation in response to stressful environment, including the interactive effect crosstalks or the different plant growth regulators and physiological and biochemical mechanism under combination about abiotic stress. And potential exogenous applications or remedial overcome the environmental stress. Example, some of the effect of the stress is mainly the concentrated decreased photosynthetic and accumulation of relative oxygens ROS, the free radicals. And another effective abiotic stress, the elevated transpiration and decreased CO2 fixations, and mainly reduced nodulation nitrogen fixations, decreased nutrition water use of efficiency, soil moisture content decrease, excess water availability, Another degradation of soil physical properties, negative effects on chlorophyll content, cell membrane integrity, leaf senescence, increase metals concentration, hormone imbalance, decrease in crop yield, leach down the nutrients. This is all of effective for abiotic stress. And under changes of climatic conditions, the numerous biotic and abiotic stress is a common seed germination, seedling growth and plant development lead to several decline of the biological and economical yield crops. Right? This is the main concepts. And the mechanism to improve the tolerance, right, is a major heat stress for the thermotolerance. Example, some other plant growth hormone to involve auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, ethylene, abscisic acid, salicylic acids, sasponate, brasnosteride, circolactose. All the cells to easily penetrate some of the important characters. One of the major characters, like cytokinin, is a stimulant of the cell divisions, should initiate and biomass increase, increasing transpiration rate, increasing antioxidant capacity. The cytokinin is a major product. Mainly the invention of bio-nature, there have been specific effect of cytokinesis is a division of cytoplasm. The discover kinetin is a modified from adenine and purine. One of the major scientists, Litho Metal, 1964, the search substance with cytokinin-like activities isolate zeatin from corn kernel or coconut milk is a promoting growth activities. Some of the natural cytokinin known to be synthesized, the region rapidly cell divisions takes place root apex, development of shoot bud, young fruits. After these root major source of synthesis of cytokinin from their upward and xylem. Is a natural coconut milk factors is containing endosperm of coconut is known as coconut milk. Is containing some factors to influence kinetin activities to enhance stimulate growth in many plant tissue in vitro conditions. All these factors are collectively called coconut milk factors. These response extremely natural occurring cytokinin. And another cytokinin process is zeatin, naturally occurring cytokinin isolated from maize grains. The remarkable known to be more active than other cytokinin activities. Some of the major functions of cytokinin is to promote cell divisions. This is one of the most common important biological effects of kinetin on the plants. To induce cell divisions, the presence of sufficient amount of IA, indole acetic acid. Another reduce apical dormancy. They promote growth lateral buds by breaking apical dormancy. Third very important process for cytokinin, morphogenesis. So differentiation or morphogenesis of the plant, tissue or organ to controlled ratio of cytokinin and auxin is proportionated. Another role for resistance, the increasing resistance of the plant high or low temperature and diseases. Finally, the cytokinin is delay senescence. They also help in delaying senescence or aging the leaf and other organs by controlling the synthesized protein and mobilization of resource of nutrients. Is the main roles. Another gibberellic acids is they are another group of plant growth hormones. Is a weakly acetic growth hormone. There are more than 100 different gibberellin response from widely different organisms like fungi and plants. All the known as acetic in natures, they are termed as gibberellic acid. Example GA, GA1, GA2. GA3 is most important gibberellic acid was first discovered. It is most expensive study among the all gibberellic acids. One of the major functions, elongation of internodes. The physiological effects to help in elongation of internode to increase the height of the plants. They can increasing length of axis, is increasing length grape stalk. And another elongated genetically dwarfed plants, head has been the gibberellin or administered to dwarf plant, pea plants, maize and etc. They may help in outcome the dwarfism. They also cause fruit to elongated and improve their shapes. Example, apple plants and grape plants. One of the third role for bolting. The gibberellin also help in promoting bolting or interroot elongation process. It's a reproductive phase or flowering. The gibberellin is the spray on roasted plant like beetroots, cabbage. The plants show extensive interroot growth and profuse leaf development also. And finally, the breaking dormancy. It is also help overcome naturally dormancy in buds, tuber, seeds and help to them grow. Is the main seed dormancy process. Breaking seed dormancy is one of the major the codes for gibberellin. Another salicylic acids. They help to photosynthesis is the production of food and transpiration, the exchange of gases from through the stomatal process, the ionic uptake and the transport electrons. The increasing of electrolytes, the leakage as well as chlorophyll, the total lipids and inorganic acid and contents. And the decreasing level of ROS. The lipids, peroxidations, they improve photosynthesis and mineral nutrients. Another best carbon, cyclolactones. They promote the germinations of parasitic plants. Example, many parasitic plants are present. One of stem parasite and root parasite also. Is the method is a common species for stem parasite. And help in recognitions of plants by symbiotic fungi, they inhibit branch formations. And another hormone, auxin. Auxin is a major role for all over the plants. It's a fast growth hormone to discover. The hormone came into existence through the observation of Charles Darwin and his son Francis Darwin. It is observed that coleoptile of canary grass responds to a unilateral source of light. Example, phenomenon known as phototropism is a stimulate root and shoot growth, is a biomass productions, inhibit growth of lateral buds, regulate the ascorbinate glutamine cycles and increasing metal phytoexudations. And the special performing series, the conclusion of coleoptile tips, the property transferable influence due to bending of complete coleoptile was caused. The first plant growth regulators, auxin was isolated by F.W. Wendt in the year of 1928 from coleoptile tips of oat plants. Is a major role for auxin. Another blastosteroid enhance the level of antioxidant systems, increasing the synthesis of indolacetic acid, stimulation of growth process such as cell elongations, cell divisions, root growth, regulate stomatal and vascular differentiation and seed germinations, immunity and reproduction process. This is a major process under control by plant growth hormones. And plant exhibit phenotypically is a plasticity. So plasticity means is a major role for the plants for applications, is a promoting centers, the plant plasticity, right? The plasticity, the phenomenon plant follow different pathways in response to environment or phase of life forming different kinds of structure. Example, heterophyly. Is the phenomenon the plants more than two type of leaves occur in same plants. Is a heterophyly is a common in cotton, coriander, larkspur, ivy. The environmental plasticity is a better seen in emergent hydrophytes. Example, ranunculus, flabularis, buttercup plants. Is a mainly the submerged leaf are highly dissected and emerged leaves are broad and lobed. And similarly, the larkspur juvenile leaves are broadly lobed. The mature leaves become pinnately divided into lobe, become linear regions of the plants. These are two different examples. And the modular design or the fascinating such as morphological adaptations. The meristem can develop into the bud that can either become dormant or grow out of the form of the branches. And many endogenous factors such as photoassimilations, the availability of exogenous factors like nutrient availability or shading is integrated the decisions whether branches is formed. And the underlying regulatory process, the networking is completed and involve phytohormone and transcript factors. The hormone auxin is derived from the shoot apex. They inhibit bud growth directly in the process termed as apical dormancy. And the main growth hormone, strigolactones, appear to modulate apical dormancy by modification of auxin flux. Some of the plant architecture is economically significant because the affects important traits of crop and ornamental plants as well as tree is cultivated in forestry or short rotating copies. And consequently the plant architecture have been modified during the plant domestications. The research only few key genes for target the selection during the plant domestications or breeding programs. And major plant growth regulators is easily to modulate the role of biostimulant and plant hormones. It's a growers. Plant growers are no stranger to the crop input such as fertilizers and crop production productivities. And less widely known category of input that gaining popularity or performance driven the farming operations. One of the main agricultural biostimulant or organically or synthetically derived inputs that stimulate natural process for the plants. And mainly plant nutrient uptake, nutrient efficiency is the crop quality, mainly increasing tolerance to abiotic stress. The abiotic stress easily to stimulate the process, the growth. One of the biostimulant are composed of various compound substances to induce microorganisms that packaged with complementary nutrients. And biostimulant benefit the plant at growth stage from seed germination to maturity. The plants mostly 4 different stages will be attained. First one is the plant just grow, the 2 cotyledons will be open is a juvenile phase. The leaf to flower bud is a vegetative phase. Once flower touch is reproductive phase. Then senescence is a maturity phase. The 4 long use maturity, the finally fruit growers biostimulant are now being incorporated into agriculture management systems and improve the productions in mainstream crop such as cereals, oil seeds, corn, soya bean and more related oil seed plants is under biostimulant easily to manipulated. And the both plant and animals to produce hormone through the glands. Some of the animal hormones, example, pheromones. The hormones easily to attract animals. In plant, hormones are responsible for sending chemical message between the organ and tissue that initiate key activity associated with growth and developments. The animal hormone digest, metabolism, respiration, tissue function and reproductive, all responsible from hormones, endocrine systems. The plant growth that stimulate growth is auxin, cytokinin, gibberellin. Some hormones plant that inhibit growth, ethylene, abscisic acids. Is auxin, cytokinin, ethylene, the relationship to the biostimulant process. And the auxin is responsible for cell growth, cell divisions and cell expansion in the actively growing part of the plants. Is mainly higher auxin concentration will cause root to the form. Its a hormone ensure the primary stem is dominant. And some other facilitate upward growth is apical dormancy. Apical dormancy is the main process, apical dormancy for auxin. And the auxin, the mainly apical dormancy is a higher concentration of plants, mainly initiate roots, inhibit abscescence, the cell elongation, promote flowerings, parthenocarpy fruits. Example, auxin or spray on and pollinated pistil to make development the parthenocarpic fruits which carry better market values. So one of the main role for auxin. Another chromatic flowers, presence of auxin help in promoting flowers. Some plants, example pineapple and lychee. Another metabolism, the application of auxin can enhance metabolism due to the metabolization or nutrient growth promoting substance. Some of the major applications for auxin is a synthetic auxin is widely accepted nowadays in the various agriculture and horticulture practices. One of the major applications for auxin, eradication of weeds. The higher concentration will cause root to the form of hormone, ensure the primary stem is dominant, facilitated uptake or upward growth is apical dormancy. Another auxin have given the survival benefits to rhizose factors that make more components to establish synthetic interaction with the plants. It's a mainly eradicated weeds. The auxin are used as weedicides and herbicides. The application of 2,4-D, 2,4-dichlorophenyl acetic acids is widely done to kill dicot weeds or dicotyledon plants. It's not affected mature and monocotyledon plants. Another important role for help in cell divisions, the cell elongation. Auxin may be also play an important role for cell divisions. Third, controlled xylem and phloem differentiation. The auxin controlled differentiation of the xylem and phloem in stem and roots. They are evidence that low concentration of auxin, it is induced phloem differentiate with a higher concentration of auxin is responsible for differentiation of both xylem and phloem plants. Is the main application of the auxin, right? Another synergetic and antagonistic interaction of auxin, the both inter-kingdom and intra-kingdom with other hormones play a key role for plant and developments and improving activities, right? Is one of the major signaling, and auxin signaling to transport and involve in the stimulation of growth and developments is the response route to improve the accessibility to the nutrient of soil solutions. Is a primary nutrient like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium supplements, the crucial role of auxin in boosting the development of lateral roots. It's a mainly nitrogen cycle is a nitrate accumulate and sensing process that reported to associated with alterations when the auxin is transported, causing rapid changes for architecture of roots. And some of the nitrates is transport protein as high activity nitrate influx carriers allow the absorption of nitrogen forming the nitrate form of soil along the activity. Nitrate filler is an integrated nitrogen signal for root growths. Is a main plans for auxin, the modification of root architecture, a vital coping with the water scarcity and soil salinity also. On auxin regulate hydrotropism response through the plant roots, sends and subsequently responds to soil moistures. The transition from the cell divisions to cell differentiation, the root of the maximum Arabidopsis thaliana plants was auxin, the minimum dependent. Some of the auxin in conjugation with ABA, abscisic acid, is the promote root hair growth due to the two antagonistic phenomena is called gravitopisms, and hydrotropisms it occur concurrently in the soils. Is the contribution of auxin in hydrotropism is less than gravitopisms. The ultimately direct the root extension and direction of moist area of soil primarily controlled by abscisic acid signaling, and mainly the overcome auxin mediated gravitopisms. is the main role for auxins, one of the improving process for key roles. And is the auxin, the two different root and shoot, what are the role is the effects, right? The effect is strong auxin source. Auxin is transported basic petal, the polar auxin transport stream. Example, POTS. According to the second messenger model auxin, the promotes stercolactone and response cytokinin biosynthesis respectively. And both hormones have adverse effects on bud growth and mostly acting via transcription factors. Is another apex, the primary auxin source is removed. The apex will be cut. The biosynthesis of stercolactone is not promoted anymore. The response represents of cytokinin biosynthesis is released. The auxin level in main stem is reduced and zinc capacity to increase facilitate the establishment of initial auxin exports from the buds. After bud growth, the emanating branches take over the functions, loss effects and primary auxin source for re-establish apical dormancy. Okay, the auxin, the continue to the next video.